I always begin with a mini lesson where I gather my students around an easel with their notebooks in hand so they can take notes. I always create an anchor chart with my students about what I'm talking about throughout the mini lesson. When you do this for the children, it is easier for them to keep track and keep up with what you're doing instead of just guessing what's always coming next. I always start my lessons by introducing a new vocabulary word. Always write your new word on your anchor chart, while other times I just pull out a new word that I've already have on a card. Either way, we discuss the vocabulary and review any previously related words. Once we are done explaining the word and all students can define it, these words go up on our math word wall. Then I teach the point of my mini lesson. Since I usually only have a small amount of time, 10 to 15 minutes, I have to be explicit. I model by working through sample problems while thinking aloud as I work. I repeat this process a couple times with different examples. Students watch during this time. I don't want them to take notes or copy because they may miss some of the very important processes of my thinking. If some days students aren't focused, you can begin with a math warm up or a stretcher. This focuses the kids and gets them started on their lesson easier. Next is the active engagement. This is where the students try a few problems that I provided them with, just like the ones I'd modeled. I usually use the same exact format, just switching around a few of the numbers. Often, I will have the students try this out with a partner while I peek over their shoulder and take notes over who is struggling a bit. I write this down on a sticky note that I carry around in my hand. Observation is a very important part. After a few minutes is up, I have students share with me their answers, or sometimes I will have a volunteer come up to the easel and show exactly how they arrived at the answer, not just tell the rest of the class what their answer is. Next, we move into guided math. This is where students work on the lesson while I work with small groups. I usually try to get the kids off the sticky note, and give this extra practice and extra attention during this time. I usually have my students get with partners or groups to complete a small game or activity. Once they finish the activity or game, I have them work on independent practice sheets so I can determine if they are grasping the work or if they need more help individually. Finally, at the end of the math workshop, we gather back around all together for a small summary that closes the lesson out. All of the workshop lessons are turned in the I do, we do, you do format. This way you can understand if the kids are getting individual practice and if they can do the work on their own. Begin by teaching the split strategy of addition by first making it concrete by using base 10 blocks. I start with two-digit numbers to make it a bit easier for the kids. Thinking aloud as I move my blocks around, I provide each student with a quick mini foldable and have them try it out with their own blocks using a partner. During this time, I usually walk around and make sure all the kids are understanding it, and if they need help, I will stop and help them. The real practice comes during the guided math portion of the activity, where students get to manipulate base 10 blocks and continue to practice regrouping. Additionally, students continue to work on engaging activities in games that reinforce the concepts. This is where I like to spend the most amount of my time so that I know kids are getting practice and that they are truly understanding the concepts. One thing that I've always done is called my base 10 blocks chickens. I've always referred to the 100 blocks as a chicken patty, the 10 blocks as a chicken finger, and the 1 blocks as a chicken nugget. The kids always think this is funny and memorable, and it helps them